Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Orange Grove 55. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the footage being leaked out of the Starcruiser experience. There's a lot to discuss here with the video, the imagery, just everything going on. We're going to talk about it up next. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard to the Galactic Starcruiser. No, just kidding. Welcome aboard to OG55. I brought my good friend, collaborator, Mr. Vast Guy on with me today to talk about some of the video being leaked out of this experience. Fascinating stuff. Dre, before we get into this though, if you can please let everyone at home know where they can find you on social media.
Hey, best place to find me right now. I think my Twitter's blown up recently with some of the stuff, but the best place to interact with me, I love the interaction, is at Vashka. It's right down there, just like it's spelled. And if you'd like to see me, well, it's on the channel you're watching at Orange Grove 55 at Freshly Squeezed, your source for juicy news and info, squeezed fresh right from the Grove. And in fact, might actually have a video tomorrow for you guys on that front. So go down, subscribe, stay tuned, and well, it'll be fun to see you there.
Yes, absolutely. So like I said, leading into this video, we're going to talk about some of the material being leaked out of this experience. It's been like a media event. A lot of members of the media and influencers and whatever you want to call them, they've been invited to experience the Starcruiser, and there's been videos and pictures galore in regards to their experience. And me and Dre, we got some thoughts. We have some thoughts, and I just want to give a little bit of a warning right now. This video might go a little dark side. We might go a little dark side on this one, guys.
Oh yes. Let's see.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
Oh, here we go. This is
There
it.
we go.
This
Absolutely,
is it.
because you know what? Look, there are a lot of things to appreciate with this experience from what we've seen coming out of it, and there's a lot to kind of critique. It's not a perfect experience by any means. But Dre, I'm going to let you start off, buddy. Where do we begin?
Yeah, so I mean, I think did I mention it on the previous shows that yeah, I think I did mention an embargo. It looks like there is a media embargo. I got the date wrong though. I thought it was going to be on March 1st when everybody else could get a chance to see it, but it looks like it's going to be tomorrow on Friday at February 25th. So again, I mean, that embargo, to me, I mean, it doesn't sound like they're super confident, and some images have leaked, some images have got out, and to be honest, I mean, they are pretty revealing of this experience. The first, let's go with the first video, and that would be of the room, right? This is your accommodations. Let's get it playing here.
Okay.
And you're gonna see here, it's small, and I think we knew that, but just seeing the size of it in kind of somebody's kind of, not super professional camera, right? Just seeing it through kind of the lens by which we can judge other things on. I mean, it's smaller than I imagined. And this is where it really, for me, goes kind of off the rails here, where it's like, you go to the restroom and, oh boy, like, where's the theme? Where's where are those touches? I mean, you look at some of the previous offerings from Disney, like the Marvel Hotel. Remember in Disneyland Paris? And it just looks incredible throughout. The restroom is a statement piece, And when it comes to this, I mean, it's like, I don't know, for the people actually staying there, they I mean, this has got to be rattling through their heads here.
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
It's like this is, This is a lot. Our buddy Sean actually astutely pointed out. Sean on Twitter, got to give him a shout out here.
Yeah,
Was like,
shout out to Sean, man. He's a big supporter of the channel. We love Sean. He's a friend. We love Sean.
big supporter of the channel. I mean, I love what he says about us. It's awesome. Thank you very much for watching. But he brought out the astute observation where it's like, hey, look, for the people who are actually going to be staying here, and for that kind of upper middle class and above people that might have expected luxurious accommodations, especially when they stay in other places for the same kind of value, this is going to be quite a step down for them, I think. I mean, what is your thought on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. The room itself, if we can pause on the room when it gets to that point.
Yeah.
Like right there.
Right there?
So the room itself actually, I think, looks pretty decent. I really like what they did with the walls, the window, the screen, whatever. It's not just a typical stucco wall or plaster wall, whatever, with pictures hanging on it. It's sculpted and themed and designed to look like the inside of a ship. This is pretty cool right here. This is pretty cool. Now, there's no doubt there's a lot of claustrophobia involved. It's a pretty tiny ass room, no doubt.
When OG sees it. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. But aesthetically, this looks pretty good to me. Now, the issue that I have though with this overall, just the overall situation going on with this is that, and I mentioned it to you, Dre, it's not so much that the physical design work of the rooms. It's more about the lighting. Like, it's lit up like your office. I used to work in an office. Now I work from home, but I used to work in an office and it was always lit up with this like really ugly fluorescent lighting.
Right.
That's what this is. If they would just dim the lights a little bit, give a little show lighting.
Yeah.
I think it would go a long way. I just think the lighting does no favors for this room at all.
Right.
Now when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about like this room that we're seeing right now. Now the bathrooms are a whole different story. Like when you touched upon the bathrooms are exactly the opposite. The bathrooms are the plaster walls, the plain walls. It's a bathroom. It looks no different than a bathroom you'd find at any restaurant or hotel or anything like that. Look, the bathrooms on Batu. I mean, you go to the bathrooms in Galaxy's Edge, and they're heavily themed. They don't look like this, guys. They don't look like this.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of see. I mean, the bathrooms. Like, there's no. I think everybody would be in agreement that this is like super. This is not what we had in mind when they said, a luxury Starliner, right? I mean, this is completely. This is just not up to snuff. And when you look at the Galaxy's Edge restrooms, I mean, yes, I understand they're weathered and everything like that, but I mean, they definitely do have a unique kind of Star Wars feel and atmosphere about them in a way that this just does not invoke whatsoever. I mean, when you get to the throne room here, I mean, come on. I mean, I've seen gas stations with better theme than this. I mean, this is atrocious. And then add into the light issue, like you pointed out before. I mean, that was the thing I was telling my family when we were watching this, was like, why is the lighting so incredibly bad in this room? I understand that, when you look at modern Disney Resort hotels now, they have kind of separate switches for like an overhead light and then like, kind of mood lighting and so forth. But that overhead light why is this even an option? Why does it look this bad? I mean, shouldn't we have something recessed, in kind of a way that's a little bit more pleasant for this space? I mean, this like you said, this harsh fluorescent like light at kind of a high K value right on this place. I mean, it looks bad. I like the under lighting of the bed, which is, I think, a first time for Disney. I've not seen that before from them specifically.
Yeah.
But everything else is just, I don't know what's going on here. Like, this is not the best showing. And for your point about the moldedness of it and
Yeah.
how that kind of looks, I do agree. It does look unique. It looks like maybe that might be something that would be featured in the Star Wars universe. It's just, I have seen luxury in the Star Wars universe as connected to ships. It doesn't look like this. It's yes, it is a showing of that, and I do appreciate that they went through that effort, but to have it look like this as the end result, and especially so small, I'm sorry, it's just unforgivable.
Well, and when you look at we really do see kind of luxury in the Star Wars prequels, right? Yeah, when you look at like Naboo, Queen Amidala,
yeah,
that luxury, that royalty, that kind of like that monarchy, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's a very elegant kind of like just very kind of like a medieval, very detailed look.
Yeah.
This isn't it. The thing with this is that it's like trying to be like normal Star Wars, right? Like with the rebellion and all that.
Yeah.
But then selling itself as like luxury. And exactly. There's a disconnect, Like
a huge disconnect.
Pick a lane. Either it's going to be like the Star Wars experience for the rebellion and regular people, or it's going to be the luxury liner for Queen Amidala. Like pick a lane though. You can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways. And what is it? BB-8 style color scheme is also like, what is that? What would Southwest Airline dedicate the internal look to something on Earth that's in the same way? No, they would go with their own style, their own thing. Why are we dedicating this color scheme to BB-8? It makes no sense when it comes to the timeline. Like you said, when you look at Padme Amidala and the Naboo kind of finer things on that planet. I mean, it's very much like kind of ancient Rome inspiration,
right?
Italy. Like the Vatican kind of thing, like that kind of opulent royalty. And I mean, maybe that might be too much. Whatever. We have seen opulence when it comes to like Starcruisers in various media. I believe Clone Wars has a few examples of this and so forth. So you didn't have to necessarily even go that direction. It just had to be consistent with the story that you're trying to tell here. And it's not even consistent with that. All the Star Wars fans are going to just pick this thing apart because they understand that world. And for the people who are looking for a luxurious experience, this doesn't meet that bar either. Like you said, like pick a lane. And they went with all of them, and they screwed up on all of them as a result.
Well, yeah, exactly. And when you ride the middle, you get hit by both directions of traffic, basically, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like that whole thing. It's like, if like you said, like, we have to pick a lane. We have to decide what we want. If we want like the standard regular folk kind of Star Wars experience, then do that. If you want the more luxury high end, then do that. But like it's just a little bit like trying to please everybody. And when you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing nobody. And that's exactly what this accomplishes. I think
that's what this is. I think that's what this is. They could have made up for this maybe if the room sizes were by default maybe a little bit larger. That way it's like, okay, well, it's not most luxurious experience, but at least there's kind of room to move around.
Right.
In this case, they went with like the cruise, like a very small cruise liner. I know people were telling me like, oh, have you ever been on a cruise? They're this small. Yeah, some of them are even smaller than this. I understand that. But when it comes to like the luxurious accommodations on a cruise liner, like the suites and all that kind of stuff, they're far bigger than this, and they're far more opulent. There was no reason for this to be in this condition, even theme wise. But it's like little stuff, right? So when you go through this corridor here, I mean, look at the sides there. In previous Star Wars content that we've seen, those little slits right there have light emitting from them usually.
I mean, even in Star Wars, when you're in the queue and you're walking through, you have those same little slits in the hallways, and they're all lit up.
They're all lit up. And I don't know if they do. Maybe they do, and we're just not seeing it here. But why don't they? Why isn't that a thing? Why don't I get the Star Wars feel like right off the bat with some of this stuff? And it's just there seems to be a disconnect. Even here, like he's got his backpack and he's got some stuff on the table. That's all the storage I'm seeing here, which is also another problem, especially if people bring costumes and so forth. I mean, I guess there's that closet before, but even that's very small.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, for me, it just doesn't, for the price point, I think this would be much better served. And I said this in our last video. I think it'd be much better served if this was priced like a high-end Disney hotel.
Yeah.
The fact that they're going cruise line prices or maybe even more expensive than that.
Yeah.
It's
outrageous.
It's just a lot to ask. It's a lot to ask. They might have to, and look, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what kind of numbers they get when it comes to people signing up for this, you know?
Right, exactly. I mean, we're just gonna have to see. Maybe their price point is in line with the demand and especially the limited supply. I mean, who knows? I just got a feeling that there might be some disappointed guests. And from what I've heard from people who, have talked to others who have stayed there and so forth like that, they're saying from what they're hearing, not one of them has said that the price is actually worth it, even though some of the experiences are pretty decent, which is worrisome. Also, too, you see that door right there before we go off. That door right there, you saw how, I think you mentioned before on a previous show how they slide, right?
Right.
They do. That door's not automatic, though. It's manual.
Oh, cool.
So that might be good, might be bad. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, that's manual. Got it confirmed for you, OG.
Cool. Now you said you mentioned you have some imagery from like Gaia, the lounge.
Yes, I do. Let me go ahead and share it with the fine people here, and
let's do that. And let's pause it because we don't want to get hit by the YouTube algorithm. I mean, not the YouTube algorithm, YouTube copyright gods.
Right. I have an image. Just an image.
Perfect.
So here we go.
That's perfect.
Ignore the commentary on the side there, but yes, I mean this is an image as taken by somebody, I believe, maybe part of an Instagram video or something that's going around that leaked. But this even in the realm of like what has come before. I mean, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to bring up Galaxy's Edge for this one again. You look at like Oga's Cantina, right? Everything's like installed, it's built out, it's like, it's all custom. It looks just incredible when you're in there. I mean, look at these tables right here. Like, I mean, what is this? What were they going for? Like IKEA? Like, this is the most bizarre thing ever. The chairs are comfortable enough, I suppose, but you just look at the fixtures, the finishings, the detail work, and it's just not there evoking, I mean, the exit sign. It's just not there evoking that Star Wars style. What do you think, OG?
No, you're right. I mean, look, you go into Oga's, Cantina, and you have I called him Captain Rex, but DJ Rex.
Yeah.
Who we all love, absolutely love. But he's in there, playing music, and everything is very molded and themed, and it's there's no like the bar stool. Everything is very crafted for that experience.
Yeah.
They didn't like go buy tables and like, what I'm saying? It's like it was built for the cantina.
Yes.
Like you said, here, it looks like they bought tables and they're putting them into the room. It just doesn't feel handmade specifically for this experience. It just doesn't.
And I think that's what people expect if they're paying $6,000 when we just saw for $100 admission fee or whatever what they could do in the theme parks, right?
Right.
I think that's where it's at. And I was looking at this, I'm going, wow, they look at the lighting up there. The chandeliers don't look nearly as nice as I thought they might be. You see some traditional lighting for the show. It's not custom. It looks like it's on some kind of track rail system or whatever, and like you would find in some nightclub somewhere. And it's just these are the details that people are going to be critical over because of that high price point. Like you said, OG, it creates that kind of false or not false, but that kind of expectation level that comes with that kind of price of frankly. But if you look here, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say too, with the lounge singer, and this is nothing against the very talented young lady that is Gaia. I mean, she's a beautiful singer, very, very talented. But in terms of like the Star Wars universe, it just doesn't fit. You know what I'm saying? Like when you watch Star Wars, you have a lot of these alien bands, or even if they have singers, they're singing in an like an alien language.
Right.
It's not. It just feels different. You know, this is like she's singing in English. It doesn't feel like Star Wars, you know? I mean, very talented lady, you know, no fault to her. It's just that it doesn't feel like Star Wars. They would have been much better served in a lounge like this to have Max Rebo and his band come out.
I know,
and play music for guests. I mean, that would bring the house down. You know, I mean, look how popular DJ Rex is over at Oga's Cantina.
Mm-hmm.
That was such a perfect decision for them to do that. You know, that's what Star Wars is about. And it's just like, this just doesn't feel like Star Wars. Now, you know, they did have lounge singers like this, I believe, in Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Yeah.
I think when Han and Kira met up after a long time again, right? They reunited.
Yes.
But even in that situation, the lounge singers weren't singing in English. It was more of an alien language, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
It felt more Star Wars-y. This doesn't feel like Star Wars to me. This feels more Fifth Element. It does.
I mean, you know, a lot of people said that during the first trailer that was released, right? With the Goldberg's kid or whatever, right? A lot of people felt that it looked, yeah, exactly, right? It looked like Fifth Element. And when you see it kind of, even in the context by which it's going to be shown, it still feels like Fifth Element. Like it just, like you said, doesn't feel like Star Wars. And it's weird because Gaia, her songs are featured in Galaxy's Edge right now. And in Oga's Cantina specifically. And they sound a lot more Star Wars-ish than this. Like you said, bring out the modal nodes, you know, from the Tatooine Cantina band, right? Apparently that was going to be a concept by which they were going to bring them into... they had a concept by which they're going to bring them into Galaxy's Edge via the restaurant. And the idea was that they were going to be a traveling band, right? And, you know, it's like, hey, you know, post-Galactic Civil War from their great, you know, time across the galaxy, including Tatooine, here's the modal nodes, you know, kind of thing. And that's how they would integrate them in. You could do something similar here, and they just choose not to. Like you say, Max Rebo, where's the kind of stuff that we expect from a Star Wars performance like this? It's just a mistake.
Well, and the Max Rebo thing is such a slam dunk.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he was heavily featured in their newest show on Disney Plus, The Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
I mean, it's like such perfect synergy, and they sleep on it. And then it's even like they have Baby Yoda, Grogu, who's like the biggest thing since like Elvis.
Okay? Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And they do nothing with it. They don't have any kind of Grogu meet and greet. They have no Grogu anything when you go to Galaxy's Edge or this.
Right.
What are you doing, Disney? Like, I thought you wanted our money.
And that's what I thought. And I think it just comes down to there is a huge disconnect between WDI and Lucasfilm. Like they're just not even trying to be on the same page. They're completely disconnected from each other, and that reverberates to your experience when in the parks experiencing these things. Like it's weird how it's like you have some of the best stuff being actively featured right now. Right. And you don't integrate that in, even though when Galaxy's Edge was first brought to us as fans, when you started talking about it, when you started to hear the publicity for it, a lot of the Imagineers were saying, oh, this would be a canvas for future Star Wars content as it comes out down the road. Where is that? Why haven't you done that kind of integration yet? Like you said, the synergy, the potential for that is off the chain, and yet they do nothing.
Well, you could have like perfect example. And the big problem too is that they're so fucking married to the timeline in these theme park things. I don't know what the hell that's about. But if you had like a cantina on the Starcruiser or a lounge like this, you could have Mandalorian come in and have a gunfight with somebody else, right? Like criminal underworld while you're eating, and have them shoot it out while you're eating. Have a dinner show, basically, right?
Yes.
How epic would this be?
Yes.
I mean, it would be so perfect. You could if it's not Mando, you could have Boba Fett do it. But it's like there's all these opportunities here. I'm not a freaking genius. I'm not
Yeah.
an Imagineer. I didn't go to architect school and all this other stuff, and I can think of this stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why can't they figure this out? It's not that complicated.
I mean, what if, just to spitball here, just to kind of get passionate about it and just kind of, draw this out a little bit more. What if you're eating, you're having dinner, everything's fine. Maybe you do have Gaia singing or some band or whatever singing and everything's great. And then all of a sudden you just see this kind of Mandalorian just come in, right? Din Djarin. He's just quietly coming in. Not making a big deal, right? You're not having lights on him or whatever, just naturally, as one would do, right? If he's looking for a bounty. And then, as soon as he steps down the steps to get into this main area right here, the music kind of goes quiet. And, he just kind of looks around. Maybe you hear the kind of whistle in the background, the signature, Exactly, right? The signature Mando thing. I gotta get some sound effects for this, by the way. But anyway, that's another whole other story. But you see him come in, and, everybody kind of goes silent. Everybody kind of looking that direction. And he's kind of, looking at the room. And he just kind of goes over to a table, which, may have been set up for this. Just saying.
Right.
And, you just see him go, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold, And he's like, he's doing the thing, right? And obviously shenanigans takes place. Maybe he busts out the Darksaber and kind of saws the table in half, And they kind of have this battle right there, kind of while you're eating. Costs almost nothing. Right. You got a lot of these costumes, and if you haven't made them for the parks, whose decision is that? And simple effects, not crazy. Maybe you could have some blaster fire sparks, whatever. Not simple effects, and they run out, and you just had this kind of crazy little moment, right? Right. The fact that they don't do even that little stuff, even just the bare minimum, it's crazy. It's wild.
It blows my mind. Like I said, we're not Imagineers. I didn't go to school for this. Yeah. You didn't go to school for this. And we literally came up with this idea in 3.5 seconds. It doesn't take that much thought. No. It's like easy money. They're like, it's easy money. And it's just I think the problem is that Lucasfilm, like you said, Lucasfilm and WDI, they're not on the same page. I think Lucasfilm has major problems with that studio and how it's run.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
And then it's WDI and everything else. You add all that into it, and it just creates a total mess. This would be such an easy crowd-pleasing thing. It could have been like Star Wars medieval times.
Oh, my God. Yes. It absolutely could have been. Absolutely could have been. I mean, you had no limitations. All the limitations that you place on it are self-imposed. You could have done whatever you wanted, theoretically, right? And even if you didn't have the money to do everything you wanted, you could have at least done something. Right. Just something small, like the scenario we pointed out, or maybe even something grander. I mean, it could have been game changing. And I think, you got to put this on Josh Giamaro, Chapek, and Kathleen Kennedy. The fact that these studios, the fact that these entities haven't come together in the way that people expected, especially when you merged consumer products with the Parks and Resorts division so that they could synergize when it comes to merchandise. And they work directly with, Lucasfilm to kind of get that merchandise out there. Why isn't that relationship profoundly closer between Lucasfilm and the Parks Experiences and Products division in a way that is synergistic to what we're talking about here? It's totally bizarre. It's crazy. It's insane. And they've done stuff like this before. There's a great video people should look up. We can't play it, and you kind of want to see it. But if you look up, it's like Star Wars Last Jedi New York Con. Just put that in, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And there was this kind of thing that they did for that con where it was almost like a test bed almost for what they were going to do or what they were planning on doing in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge with some of those shows. But you see, people go into this room, right, and they're kind of looking around. It's great, Star Wars theme, decked out, and then the First Order, pops up. Doors locked behind them. First, the stormtroopers come in. And I think they're doing something similar to that on Galactic Starcruiser, but they even take it a step further where they pick people out from the crowd. Hey, are you the spy? You're the spy. They get people out of there. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren shows up, and he grips this kind of, Imperial officer, and he actually grips him and raises him up.
Wow.
Kind of through a system in the wall behind you, and you can't figure it out, but he's floating there and he's struggling and stuff. They can do this stuff, and maybe they are going to do some of this stuff while on board. But the fact that they don't, I guess that the fact that they don't, I mean, we should be seeing this all throughout this experience. I mean, we should hear reports of people blown away from a lot of this stuff. The fact that we don't is concerning.
Well, yeah, and look, even Las Vegas. I was in Las Vegas this last August, and I was really blown away by like the quality of these hotels. They're incredible over there in Vegas.
Right.
But even some of these Las Vegas hotels, they have full-blown attractions in these hotels. I don't think it's there anymore, but I think the Las Vegas Hilton had a Star Trek experience kind of attraction years ago.
They did.
Why not add something like a simulator ride, in the vein of like a Star Tours or something like that in the Galactic Starcruiser, a full-blown attraction that guests can experience. Imagine the draw for something like that you can only experience when you're staying there.
Correct. And honestly, it's weird because like for example, like the simulator technology, you can do that anywhere, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be necessarily in a theme park, and it doesn't have to be a roller coaster where you need a big show building. I mean, you can do that anywhere with anything. We've seen how they do that with the pods for Smuggler's Run, for example. I mean, you could do some of those type of experiences and do like custom entertainment for these folks while here. If they, obviously you're going to go to Batu, whatever, but you can do them here where it's just exclusive to them and that's all they see and go from there. And the fact that they didn't even at least do that, I mean, it's concerning and troubling. It speaks to maybe some cuts of some stuff. I mean, we see what they're doing with the sabacc table right here in this new footage that was released by Disney yesterday. And you see it's supposed to be hollow sabacc, but where's the hollowness of it? I guess is what I'm asking right there. If you see in this concept artwork, they're supposed to be floating cards and, they're supposed to be illuminated and stuff like that. Right. I mean, where is that? Like, even small stuff like that's changed. I think it speaks to maybe some cuts really did affect this place in a way that maybe we previously maybe underestimated, considering the expensive, how much this experience actually costs for guests.
Yeah, it looks like that guy in the hoodie that's pushing those buttons, that's probably what we're supposed to be. Those buttons were probably what was supposed to be the floating cards.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And maybe they had problems with the technology. Obviously, if these cards, is sabacc a game where you don't want to see each other's cards? I
believe so, yeah.
So that might have been difficult given, glass and holo projection technology and so forth. How do you prevent people from seeing the other side? But was there kind of a more graceful implementation of this than these kind of, I don't know, Fisher-Price looking buttons over here? What are we doing here?
And you hit the nail on the head. And you mentioned this in videos many months ago, maybe even a year or more ago, where you said you felt like they were holding back on the characters and the droids and on Batu to save them for this. Now, that's one thing I definitely did notice. You're seeing here a costume character that looks, like Greedo. And,
yes.
and like, obviously, these were probably characters and walkarounds that were supposed to be for Galaxy's Edge. And they said, no, let's wait. Let them pay $6,000 per head or whatever it is, for the Galactic Starcruiser to get that stuff. Because we were always wondering, why aren't they having the droids and the characters and the aliens walking around Batu? We always thought, oh, well, maybe it's the the Pandy, the that was preventing it in the crowds, but it really wasn't. I think it really comes down to, hey, you know what? We'll have all of that stuff. Like you see here, another costume, cast member. We'll have all of it in the Galactic Starcruiser because there's more money to be made for this. See another droid. You don't see any of that in Batu. There's no reason for it. The only reason why is that they're doing it in this is because it's more money. So if they were to give you all this stuff on Batu, there'd be less of a draw to go to this.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why they did that. And I mean, I can kind of see it simply because of how much that might have cost, right? Upkeep, maintenance on some costumes, and people having people dress out and stuff like that. Unfortunately, they cut it so late in the design of Galaxy's Edge that kind of affected Galaxy's Edge. You have some buildings that don't really make sense where they are. Like, why is this building here? And it's like, well, it was there because that was supposed to be a makeup room and a dress room for the costume characters when they come out and stuff like that. And well, it's no longer needed, right? Why doesn't the place have music? Well, I mean, why is it so dead? Why is it so silent? Well, that music was supposed to be provided by cast members actually playing in front of you and stuff like that. And it just affected that. And now its inclusion here, I suppose it's for the benefit of guests staying, but it looks like some things were cut even to do that, which is not great, especially when you're paying so much. And we know the standards set by Galaxy's Edge previously. Only 3 years ago that place opened. So this feels to me like it might be a step down. Now it's interesting. I heard a rumor, and I guess on day 2 of the excursion here, for people that are staying, they are going to be having people leave the Starcruiser and all go to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, to Batuu, right? And that's where their journey takes them, and they'll be back probably for about 6 hours. And that allows for them to kind of reset things and kind of, clean some stuff up and do the actual maintenance in this space. Because it's going to be constantly booked out, right? I guess there's an idea that they might be looking to monetize that time by having guests who aren't staying there or are never going to stay there maybe pay a fee so they go in and can explore it for, within that window of time, like maybe $200 to $300 or something like that.
What?
Yeah, it's the craziest thing. I was like, whoa, like what? And I guess the idea is let's get as much money out of this as possible, and make sure that even if we don't have rooms booked, we still have people going through this and paying a fee. Exactly, right? Like making moves. Uh-oh. There he goes. So, I mean, I guess that's possible. I would hold off on that, Disney, if you're looking at it, because I don't think anybody's going to pay $6,000 if they know they can walk in here for cheaper. So you might not want to do that, but I mean, that's the rumor here. I'm just getting the sense from the company that they're a little bit unsure with this whole thing, and I've heard some things back of house. I think you've seen these rumors, OG, where I guess Imagineering was having infighting during this, and everybody was split. The budget was being constantly cut, and this is what we got here. And if that's true, that sure does explain a lot.
It's funny, and before we close it out, I just want to this is just a funny observation, kind of.
Sure.
This picture right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen like those lockup shows on MSNBC. I don't know if you ever watched those, where like they kind of go inside like the various prisons across the country.
Oh, okay.
So I used to watch all these on Netflix. They were on Netflix a long time ago. I don't even know if they're on Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
But this looks, and I'm so sorry, I can't shake it. And our buddy George mentioned like the rooms were like prison cells earlier today, and it kind of triggered this in my mind. Yeah. This image right here looks exactly like the Gen Pop areas of these prisons, where like see where the orange door is. That's where like the cells are.
Yes.
And then down below with like all the people is like where they have like the dining hall.
Yes.
It looks totally like a prison to me. Like, and I can't like unsee it.
Yeah. So this is cell block D is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. And it just looks like the Gen Pop part of a prison. It does, and it sucks, but it just that's what I.
Yeah, well, look, for anybody watching, go back to see that video that we were playing of the rooms, in prior minutes of this video. And you'll see like the restrooms, and a lot of people, when they saw the vanity and the sink and stuff like that, a lot of people said this looks like a prison. Yeah. And some people even said, well, Leia's quarters on the Death Star were bigger, in that prison's cell. And I mean, people are making jokes, people are making fun, but you know, I mean, a lot of people are paying for this, and the fact that it looks like this, I mean, honestly, if I was at WDI and I worked on this, I'd be kind of ashamed, to be frank. And I never thought I would say that, but you know, I mean, it's for whatever the reason why this happened. I mean, this is not the best showing, I think.
No, it's not. And I think what it will come down to at the end of the day is if it doesn't perform financially, they'll go in there and they'll pump money into it like they did DCA, and they'll spend double the budget on it unnecessarily than they would have if they just would have done it right from day one. And it's the same old thing, same old song and dance. Didn't learn their lesson at all from DCA. So, or Walt Disney Studios in Paris, for that matter.
And they're working on that right now. You'd think if you're working on a lesson that you'd remember it, right?
Right.
And it's like you said, they just didn't remember it. And you put it so eloquently, OG. That's exactly what they're probably going to be going through here. It's just, you know, it's all over again. It's like, let's spend more to do it better the second time, even after we made a horrible first impression.
Right.
On that front, though, I mean, there is a lot that they could do here. Like we've said before, like the kind of seasonality, like you have different stories and stuff.
Right.
I mean, that is a potential to be put in if you do go through with those changes. But hopefully this improves. Hopefully the footage that we see February 25th and on, after the embargo, and March 1st, and everybody's reactions is great. Honestly, I do want this thing to do well, because I think this is a great mode of entertainment and
great
storytelling.
concept.
It's a great concept.
It's actually the concept itself is actually quite brilliant. I mean, to have the space model, I mean the cruise model, but done in the Star Wars universe, and you're going out into the universe of the galaxy, is really a brilliant concept. It's just they got to stick the landing though. You got to do it right though. And you know, I think it's going to take I think it's going to be another DCA 1.0. I think they're going to have to go in there with more money. Yeah. And infuse some stuff. They're going to have to loosen that damn timeline. I don't know why they're so the timeline thing, I think, and real quick, we're coming up on a hard out, but the timeline thing is more of a Lucasfilm issue, I think, than a WDI thing. Because WDI, they'll break from immersion a little bit if they need to. Like, they didn't seem to mind with Mission Breakout looming over Buena Vista Street. Yeah. I feel like this is Lucasfilm sticking their heels in, saying, no, there's a timeline. I just have a gut feeling.
Somebody's sticking to it. And honestly, they should be freaking kicked to the curb. I mean, that's a terrible decision, and it's inhibiting the fun of it. You know, like George Lucas said, like, you know, back when they were doing Star Tours, the Star Tours, the Adventures Continue, right? And they you know, he was like, hey, where's the walkers? Where's the AT-AT walkers? When they were, you know, when he was being shown concepts by the Imagineers, and they said, well, it wouldn't fit in the timeline. And George Lucas was like, who cares? And really, it's have fun. Let's have Star Wars be fun again. So that's my piece.
Yep, 100%. Thank you. 100%. That's exactly it. Have a little fun. That's all they got to do. Loosen up a little bit. But thank you, Dre. I do appreciate you coming on, brother. As always, it was an absolute pleasure talking some Starcruiser. It's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks with this thing.
Oh yes, very interesting.
We will see. But if you can let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media.
Well, best place to find me is at Fashguy, right down here, just like it's spelled. And the best place to see me is going to be on the channel you're watching right now, Orange Grove 55 at Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice news, squeezed fresh right from the Grove. By the way, new video coming out tomorrow. Subscribe for that. Come on, guys. You know, it's a Freshly Squeezed video. This is awesome. Yes. Anyway, and
it's going to be a good one, guys. We have some fantastic topics, really, really unique, interesting topics tomorrow. You're going to have a fun time with this video.
I think so. It's coming at it from a different angle. Not a lot of people are talking about it, but it's really, really cool. Anyway, I think that wraps this up, OG. Thank you very much for having me on. Yeah, no, it was my pleasure. My pleasure. And everybody at home, thank you so much for watching. Comment down below with what your opinions are on the footage that we showed today, what we talked about. We would love to hear from you. Have you booked your trip yet to the Galactic Starcruiser?
If so, let us know. If you've been there, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, may the force be with you.